Welcome back to Bible Shorts, episode 49, David Spares Saul. Now remember early last month when we were talking about David, he had returned from Moab. He and his men hid in the strongholds in the hill country of the wilderness of Zeph. Saul sought him every day, but the Lord did not give him into his hand. But Saul's son Jonathan set out and found David. He said to him, "Do not be afraid, for the hand of my father Saul shall not find you. You shall be king over Israel, and I shall be second to you. My father Saul knows that this is so." Then the two of them made a covenant before the Lord, and Jonathan returned home. Then the people of Zeph came to Saul at his home in Gibeah, saying, "David is hiding on the hill of Hakilah." So Saul rose and went down with 3,000 chosen men of Israel to seek David in the wilderness of Zeph, and Saul encamped below a hill. When he learned that Saul had come after him into the wilderness, David sent out spies and learned that Saul had indeed arrived. Then David set out and came to the place where Saul was encamped. And David saw the place where Saul lay with Abner, son of Ner, the commander of Saul's army nearby. Saul was lying within the encampment while the army was encamped around him. Then David said to his men, "Who will go down with me into the camp to Saul?" And Abishai the Hittite said, "I will go down with you." So David and Abishai went to the army by night. There Saul lay, sleeping within the encampment, with his spear stuck in the ground at his head, and Abner and the army lay around him. Abishai said to David, "God has given your enemy into your hand. Therefore let me pin him to the ground with one stroke of the spear. I will not strike him twice." But David said to Abishai, "Do not destroy him, for who can put up his hand against the Lord's anointed and be guiltless? The Lord forbid that I should raise my hand against the Lord's anointed. But let us take the spear that is at his head and the water jar and go." Then David took the spear that was at Saul's head and the water jar, and they went away. No one saw it or knew it, nor did anyone awake, for they were all asleep, because a deep sleep from the Lord had fallen upon them. Then David went over to the other side and stood on top of a hill far away, with a great distance between them. David called to the army and to Abner, son of Ner, Saul's military leader, saying, "Abner, will you not answer?" Then Abner replied, "Who are you who calls to the king?" David said to Abner, "Are you not a man? As the Lord lives, you have not kept watch over your Lord, the Lord's anointed. See now, where is the king's spear or the water jar that was at his head?" Saul recognized David's voice and said, "Is this your voice, my son David?" David said, "It is my voice, my lord, O king." And David added, "Why does my king the Lord pursue his servant? What have I done? What guilt is on my hands? If it is the Lord who has stirred you up against me, may he accept an offering. But if it is men, they have driven me away from my share in the heritage of the Lord. Now therefore do not let my blood fall to the ground away from the presence of the Lord. For you, the king of Israel, have come out to seek a single flea, like one who hunts a partridge in the mountains." Then Saul said, I have done wrong. Come back, my son David, for I will never harm you again, because my life was precious in your sight today." Saul went on and said, "I have been a fool and made a great mistake." David replied, "Here is the spear, O king. Let one of the young men come over and get it. The Lord gave you into my hand today, but I would not raise my hand against the Lord's anointed. As your life was precious today in my sight, so may my life be precious in the sight of the Lord, and may he rescue me from all tribulation." Then Saul said to David, "Blessed be you, my son. You will do many things and will succeed in them." So David went his way, and Saul returned to his home. But can David trust Saul's words? I don't think so, because David and his men continue to hide in the wilderness. What happens next? Look for episode 50. Abigail comes to the rescue.